Have you ever wondered what happens behind the scenes of some of the greatest successes or failures in cinematic history? Often, the films we love or hate hide secrets and backstage stories that reveal a completely new side to what we see on screen. From scenes that left actors uncomfortable to creative decisions that led to deep regrets, these moments show that the journey of a film isn't always as magical as the final result. Hello, curious minds. I'm Code, and this is Discover It, where curiosity knows no bounds. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and help spread these discoveries to more people. Together, we'll build a community where curiosity can change the world. Today, we're diving into incredible stories of regret in cinema, from lines that age poorly to scenes that should never have happened. What led major stars to question their roles? And what can we learn from these moments? Stick around until the end, because some of these stories will change how you view your favorite movies. 15 Elliot Page in Juno. In the 2007 film Juno, Elliot Page played the titular character, a witty and sarcastic teenager dealing with an unexpected pregnancy. The film was widely praised, earning several Oscar nominations, including one for Page as Best Actress. However, the movie contains a scene where Juno responds to the name Madison with the line, "Isn't that kind of gay?" At the time, this was received as a casual joke, but over time, it has faced criticism for its homophobic connotation. After transitioning and reflecting on their career, Page admitted feeling uncomfortable with the scene, recognizing how it could be offensive to the LGBTQIA+ community. The line, though small, carries significant weight when viewed in today's context, where issues of respect and representation are more thoroughly examined. For Page, the regret is not only personal but also a reflection of cultural and industry-wide growth in Hollywood. The situation highlights how small moments in films can perpetuate stereotypes without the creators realizing it at the time. For Page, now a symbol of trans representation, the scene serves as a reminder that even well-intentioned works can mishandle sensitive issues. This kind of self-awareness is valuable for the film industry as a whole. Despite the discomfort with a specific scene, Juno remains a significant milestone in Page's career and in independent cinema. It's like a band you loved, but one day you realize some lyrics didn't age so well. Juno is like that, a classic with room for reflection. The film, known for its candid and humorous take on teenage pregnancy, also pioneered snappy dialogue and a memorable soundtrack. Page's acknowledgement of the mistake demonstrates maturity and a commitment to the values they now uphold. 14 Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo in Super Mario Bros. When Super Mario Bros. Was released in 1993, it quickly became a box office and critical disaster. Based on the famous Nintendo game, the movie was highly anticipated by fans, but ended up disappointing almost everyone. Bob Hoskins, known for his role in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and John Leguizamo, who played Luigi, were the film's leads. Despite their talent, the confusing script and questionable creative choices led to a widely criticized movie. Hoskins, in particular, didn't hold back when discussing his dissatisfaction. In later interviews, he called Super Mario Bros. The worst thing I ever did, describing the set as chaotic and admitting he often had no idea what was happening during filming. Leguizamo was more diplomatic, but acknowledged that the movie failed to meet fans' expectations. Both actors struggled to cope with the commercial and critical failure of the film. The movie suffered from a lack of clear direction and attempts to combine adult and child-friendly elements, resulting in an inconsistent final product. The lead actors found themselves stuck in a project that didn't reflect their skills or the essence of the original games. For Hoskins, it was a career low point, while Leguizamo managed to bounce back quickly with other prominent roles. Despite the fiasco, Super Mario Bros. Is now seen by some as a cult classic admired for its oddity. However, for Hoskins and Leguizamo, the memories of filming remain a chapter they'd rather forget. The experience serves as a cautionary tale for actors about the risks of video game adaptations without a clear vision. 13 Jennifer Lawrence in Passengers. Jennifer Lawrence, one of the most talented actresses of her generation, found herself in an uncomfortable situation while filming Passengers 2016. The film, a blend of romance and sci-fi, is set aboard a spaceship. Lawrence starred alongside Chris Pratt, one of Hollywood's leading men at the time. However, an intimate scene between the two became one of the actress's biggest challenges during production. Lawrence's discomfort stemmed from the fact that Pratt was married at the time, which made her uneasy about filming the scene. This is one of those moments where you think, do I really have to do this? It's like being in a group project where you're the only one doing the work. Although both actors remained professional, the idea of performing such an intimate scene left Lawrence feeling anxious and even guilty. To ease the tension, she admitted to drinking alcohol beforehand, something she doesn't typically do to prepare for roles. Even so, it didn't completely eliminate her discomfort. The episode is a reminder of how challenging intimate scenes can be for actors, even those with extensive experience. Lawrence has said in interviews that the experience was one of the most difficult of her career, not just because of the nature of the scene, but also because of her concerns about its personal implications for Pratt and his family. While the set was technically controlled, the emotional tension remained. Despite the challenges, Passengers achieved moderate success, but the scene in question remains a striking, if not entirely positive memory for Lawrence. With the rise of intimacy coordinators on film sets, such situations are now handled with greater care to ensure everyone's comfort. 12. Dakota Johnson in the 50 Shades franchise. The 50 Shades trilogy was controversial from the outset, becoming one of the most polarizing franchises in recent cinema history. Dakota Johnson, who played Anastasia Steele, fully embraced the role, tackling challenging and intimate scenes. However, Johnson revealed that the filming process was fraught with difficulties, largely due to creative differences between the cast and E.L. James, the author of the books. Johnson frequently clashed with James, who maintained tight control over the film adaptations of her work. When an author wants that much control, you think, okay, then why don't you just do it yourself? It must have been a major tug-of-war on set. The actress explained that some scenes simply didn't translate well to the screen, even if they were faithful to the book. This creative tension resulted in stressful moments on set, leaving Johnson frustrated. Additionally, the public scrutiny and high expectations added another layer of pressure to the experience. While many assumed the sex scenes would be the most challenging part, Johnson stated that these sequences were less difficult than the ongoing creative conflicts. She has said in interviews that she often felt caught between the author's vision and the demands of creating a cinematic product. Such tensions are common in literary adaptations, but their impact on Johnson was significant. Despite her struggles, the actress delivered a convincing performance that helped the franchise earn billions of dollars worldwide. However, Johnson expressed relief at leaving the series behind, stating that while the experience was formative, it was not something she wished to repeat. Her candor about the challenges she faced reflects her pursuit of more meaningful and fulfilling roles. 11. Mark Hamill in Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Mark Hamill, widely known as Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars saga, has always shown profound respect for his character and the story he helped build. However, he has a peculiar regret about a specific detail in The Empire Strikes Back. In the film, there is a scene where Luke encounters a wampa, a menacing creature, and cuts off its arm with his lightsaber. For Hamill, this moment was an unnecessary deviation from Luke's compassionate nature. Initially, Hamill was told the lightsaber would merely scare the wampa without causing serious harm. However, upon seeing the final version of the film, he was shocked to find his character had mutilated the creature. In interviews, Hamill remarked that this choice did not reflect the compassion and morality that define Luke Skywalker. To him, Luke always sought to resolve conflicts wisely, and the violence against the wampa felt out of place. Mark Hamill was like, "Guys, is Luke a Jedi or an aspiring butcher?" He always wanted to keep the character on the path of the light, literally. Some fans disagreed with Hamill, arguing that the wampa was an immediate threat and Luke's action was justifiable. However, for the actor, the issue was more symbolic than narrative. He believed the moment conveyed a message that did not align with the core values of his character. This type of detail demonstrates how deeply actors can care about the integrity of their roles. Though the scene was a minor detail in the grand scheme of the trilogy, it remains an interesting example of how creative decisions can lead to regrets for those involved. Hamill, for his part, has always shown affection for the fans and the series, making his reflections further proof of his dedication to the Star Wars universe. 10. Kate Winslet in Titanic. Kate Winslet delivered one of cinema's most iconic performances as Rose in Titanic 1997, a film that defined generations. Despite its tremendous success, there is one scene Winslet wishes she could erase from her memory. The famous sequence in which her character poses nude for Jack, Leonardo DiCaprio, saying the line, "Draw me like one of your French girls." Though professional in her execution, Winslet revealed in interviews that the scene brought unexpected challenges. Winslet's discomfort arose mainly after the film's release, when fans began asking her to autograph images from the scene. For the actress, these requests were invasive and unsettling, turning a moment of artistic vulnerability into something objectifying. Kate Winslet must have thought, "I'm here to act, not to become a souvenir." She showed immense professionalism, but even limits have limits. She stated she never imagined the scene would be used so obsessively by some individuals. Winslet also reflected on how the sudden fame amplified her experience with that scene. While she was proud of her work in the film, she started avoiding discussing that specific moment in interviews. This highlighted the pressures actors face in dealing with public interpretations of their work, especially in more intimate scenes. Despite her discomfort, Winslet never allowed this experience to diminish the positive impact of her performance in Titanic. The film, which remains one of the most successful in cinema history, helped solidify her career and establish her as one of the greatest actresses of her generation. However, her candor about the scene serves as a reminder of how fame can bring unexpected challenges. 9. Burt Reynolds in Boogie Nights. Released in 1997, Boogie Nights was critically acclaimed for its bold exploration of the 1970s and 1980s pornography industry. The film featured a stellar cast, including Mark Wahlberg, Julianne Moore, and Burt Reynolds, who played adult film director Jack Horner. Despite the film's success, Reynolds made it clear that he did not enjoy the movie or the experience of working on it. He even fired his agent for recommending the role. Reynolds openly criticized the narrative and style of director Paul Thomas Anderson. He felt the film was chaotic and poorly structured, making the filming process unpleasant. In several interviews, the actor revealed frequent clashes with Anderson and described their relationship as strained. To Reynolds, the young filmmaker seemed inexperienced and arrogant, which he found intolerable. Though Boogie Nights was a critical success and earned Reynolds an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor, he continued to disavow the film. Many of his co-stars reported that he was difficult on set, often expressing dissatisfaction with the scenes and his role. Nevertheless, his performance as Jack Horner was widely praised, proving that even in adverse circumstances, Reynolds was a talented actor. Reynolds' attitude toward the film remained unchanged until his death. He never acknowledged the positive impact Boogie Nights had on his career. For fans and critics, however, his role in the movie is considered one of the best of his career. His honesty about his feelings also stands as a reflection of his strong personality. 8. George Clooney in Batman and Robin. George Clooney took on the role of Batman in Batman and Robin 1997, one of the most criticized films in the Dark Knight franchise. Directed by Joel Schumacher, the film attempted a more lighthearted and colorful take on Gotham's universe, but was largely rejected by fans and critics. Clooney, who was already an emerging star, accepted the role hoping to solidify his film career, but it ended up being a major regret. In numerous interviews, Clooney admitted that the film was a mistake. He even joked about killing the Batman franchise with his performance. For the actor, the problem was not just the shallow script, but also the exaggerated direction and aesthetics, which completely diverged from the dark tone fans expected. He also mentioned that during filming, he felt the project lacked depth and cohesion. Clooney's regret was so profound that he often issued public apologies to DC fans for his involvement in the film. Despite the harsh criticism, Clooney quickly bounced back, taking on more serious roles in films such as Solaris and Syriana. He credited his experience in Batman and Robin as a learning moment that helped him become more selective with his projects. While the film is frequently remembered as one of the franchise's worst, Clooney has been praised for his candor about it. His ability to laugh at himself and acknowledge his mistakes has become one of his most admired traits. For many, the failure of Batman and Robin was a stepping stone that helped Clooney become the respected actor and filmmaker he is today. Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct 1992 was a landmark in Sharon Stone's career, establishing her as one of Hollywood's biggest stars. The erotic thriller directed by Paul Verhoeven is remembered for its provocative scenes and psychological suspense. However, the infamous interrogation scene, where Stone's character crosses her legs, became one of the most controversial in cinematic history. Stone revealed years later that she had been deceived about how the scene would be filmed. According to Stone, the director asked her to remove her underwear during filming, assuring her that nothing explicit would be visible. However, upon watching the final cut, she was horrified to see that the scene revealed more than promised. Feeling betrayed, Stone confronted Verhoeven and reportedly slapped him in a moment of frustration. For the actress, this breach of trust was a grave violation. Paul Verhoeven thought he could be clever, but Sharon Stone proved she was the true master of the game. This story is the definition of no means no. The scene sparked debates about ethics on film sets and the need to protect actors, especially during intimate scenes. Stone, while feeling betrayed, chose not to sue, fearing it would jeopardize her rising career. However, she continued to speak about the emotional impact of the experience, highlighting how Hollywood often prioritized audiences over artists' well-being. Despite the discomfort, Basic Instinct is considered a classic, and Stone's performance remains highly praised. Her decision to share her experience helped spark important conversations about consent and respect in filmmaking. The scene, though controversial, serves as a reminder of how the industry has evolved and how negative experiences can inspire positive change. 6. Jim Carrey in Kickass 2. Jim Carrey is known for his comedic and high-energy performances, but his role in Kickass 2 2013 showcased a different side of his personality. In the film, Carrey plays Colonel Stars and Stripes, a peculiar and violent vigilante. Initially, the actor was excited about the role and the film's irreverent tone. However, tragic events that occurred before the movie's release completely changed his perspective. A few months before the premiere, the Sandy Hook school shooting deeply shook the United States. Carrey, a strong advocate for gun control, began feeling uneasy about the level of violence depicted in Kick-Ass 2. Jim Carrey was like, "Okay, it was fun on screen, but in real life, no thanks." He showed that principles matter more than box office numbers. He took to Twitter to express his dissatisfaction, stating, "I cannot, in good conscience, support that level of violence after what happened." His statement sparked controversy and divided opinions among fans and industry colleagues. The film's production team was surprised by Carrey's comments, especially since he was aware of the franchise's violent tone when he accepted the role. However, many admired his courage to openly discuss his change of heart, even if it risked affecting his relationship with the film and his co-stars. Carrey's stance also sparked discussions about the impact of violence in entertainment and its influence on society. Despite the criticism, Carrey remained firm in his position, clarifying that he was not ashamed of his performance, but that his beliefs had evolved. His decision to publicly take a stand on the issue was seen as an act of integrity, demonstrating that personal values can and should take precedence over professional interests. Kick-Ass 2 was a moderate success, but Carrey's stance remains one of the film's most memorable aspects. 5. Bill Murray in Garfield. Bill Murray is widely known for his ability to choose intelligent and comedic roles, but his decision to voice Garfield in the 2004 adaptation left many fans puzzled. After all, it seemed out of place in a filmography that included Ghostbusters and Lost in Translation. The reason behind this choice, however, is almost as comedic as Murray himself. He accepted the role by mistake. Murray revealed years later that he had read the screenwriter's name, Joel Cohen, and assumed it was one of the renowned Coen brothers, famous for acclaimed works like Fargo and The Big Lebowski. Only after committing to the project did Murray realize his error, as Joel Cohen was actually a writer of family-friendly comedies. This misunderstanding led him to a project he likely would have declined under different circumstances. During production, Murray realized the script was not what he had expected and attempted to adjust his lines to make them funnier. However, the film's tone didn't align with his style. Although his voice acting was technically well done, the actor frequently joked in interviews about how much he regretted being part of the film. In his characteristic humor, Murray once quipped that he regretted Garfield more than any other decision in his career. Despite everything, Garfield performed reasonably well at the box office, even spawning a sequel. For many fans, Murray's involvement in the film is an amusing curiosity and a reminder that even the most seasoned actors can make mistakes. For Murray, however, the experience remains a classic example of how misunderstandings can lead to choices he'd rather forget. For Kurt Russell in The Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight, 2015, is renowned for its intense suspense and memorable performances. Among them is Kurt Russell's portrayal of John Ruth, also known as the Hangman. In one of the film's most impactful scenes, John destroys a guitar in a fit of rage. The scene was a dramatic success, but sparked enormous controversy behind the scenes because the guitar destroyed was an irreplaceable 1870s antique. The guitar, on loan from the Martin Guitar Museum, was a priceless historical artifact. The production had planned to swap the instrument with a replica before the destruction, but a miscommunication led to Russell accidentally breaking the original. Jennifer Jason Leigh, who was acting opposite him in the scene, was visibly horrified, and her reaction captured in the film was genuine. Russell was unaware of the guitar's value until after filming. When informed, he was devastated by the incident. Imagine breaking a relic and only finding out afterward. Kurt must have felt like a bull in a vintage china shop. The Martin Guitar Museum declared it would never again lend instruments to film productions. The destruction of the guitar became one of the film's most talked about stories, raising debates about responsibility on movie sets. Despite the incident, Russell delivered an unforgettable performance, and the scene became one of the film's most intense moments. However, the regret over the mistake remains with both the actor and the production, which faced criticism for its negligence. The episode serves as a reminder of how logistical errors can have irreparable consequences, even in major productions. Uma Thurman in Kill Bill, Volume 2. The Kill Bill franchise, directed by Quentin Tarantino, is famous for its stylized violence and iconic sequences. However, for Uma Thurman filming Kill Bill, Volume 2 was marred by a traumatic incident that left both physical and emotional scars. During production, Thurman was persuaded to drive a car at high speed despite her concerns about the vehicle's safety. Thurman later recounted that the car felt unstable, but she was pressured to perform the scene. During filming, she lost control of the vehicle, resulting in a serious crash. If even Uma Thurman fell into a situation like this, imagine the rest of us? The Kill Bill set seemed more like a minefield than a workplace. The actress sustained neck and knee injuries leading to chronic pain. Additionally, the production initially tried to cover up the incident, compounding her frustration and sense of betrayal. In 2018, Thurman brought the accident to light in an interview with the New York Times, sharing footage of the crash and detailing how it had affected her relationship with Tarantino and other members of the production team. While she stated that she forgave the director, she also emphasized that the working conditions during filming were irresponsible and dangerous. Her bravery in discussing the accident raised critical questions about safety on set. Despite the trauma, Thurman continued to receive acclaim for her performance in the Kill Bill franchise. Her revelations highlighted the need for greater care and transparency in film productions, particularly for dangerous scenes. The incident remains a stark reminder that even in celebrated projects, troubling situations can occur behind the scenes. 2. Emilia Clarke in Game of Thrones. Emilia Clarke captivated millions of fans as Daenerys Targaryen in Game of Thrones, a role that became iconic over the course of the series. However, the actress revealed that she struggled with several nude scenes, especially at the start of production. Despite understanding that sensuality was part of the character, Clarke admitted that filming those scenes was uncomfortable, exacerbated by the pressure of being in one of the most-watched series in the world. In an interview, Clarke shared that during the early seasons, she felt pressured to accept the nude scenes, even when she wasn't entirely comfortable. Although the crew was respectful, the weight of knowing that millions of people, including her own family, would watch those scenes left her anxious. In one specific episode, Book of the Stranger, Daenerys emerges from a burning building completely nude, and Clarke mentioned the emotional toll of filming that scene. Over time, Clarke grew more confident in setting boundaries on set. Emilia learned to say no with grace, and it was like, forget Daenerys, I'm in charge here, a true Dracarys to old standards. She expressed gratitude to her co-stars Jason Momoa and Lena Headey, who helped her understand the importance of advocating for her comfort and well-being. Additionally, the introduction of intimacy coordinators in the later seasons significantly improved the experience for the cast. Even so, Clarke admitted that some scenes still make her feel vulnerable when she looks back on them. While Game of Thrones was a turning point in her career, Clarke also emphasized the need for changes in Hollywood to protect actors in sensitive scenes. Her willingness to speak out on the issue has brought greater visibility to concerns around consent and representation on set, making her an important voice in the industry. 1. Ryan Reynolds in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds is widely recognized for his brilliant portrayal of Deadpool, but his first appearance as the character in X-Men Origins, Wolverine 2009, is something he'd rather forget. In the film, Deadpool was completely mischaracterized, with his mouth sewn shut and none of the sharp wit that made him famous in the comics. Reynolds, a longtime fan of the character, was deeply disappointed with the result. Before the release, Reynolds warned the producers that fans wouldn't accept this version of Deadpool. His concerns were ignored, and the film was widely criticized, with the adaptation of the character being one of the main targets of the backlash. For Reynolds, the failure was particularly painful since he had taken the role in hopes of faithfully bringing Deadpool to life. After years of effort, Reynolds managed to launch Deadpool 2016, a project he personally championed and partially funded. The R-rated film was a massive success, earning over $780 million worldwide. More importantly, it restored the character's essence, complete with sharp humor and irreverent action. Reynolds even used the new films to mock the version of Deadpool from X-Men Origins. Reynolds' experience is an example of how perseverance and passion can turn an initial failure into tremendous success. Today, Deadpool is one of Marvel's most beloved franchises, and Reynolds is widely praised for his dedication to the character. His journey with Deadpool is a redemption story that inspires actors and fans around the world. Throughout this journey, we've seen how artistic and creative choices can profoundly impact not just films, but also the lives of actors and the audience's perception. Moments like these show that the magic of cinema is complex, filled with nuances, and sometimes regrets. However, these experiences also bring lessons, change, and in many cases, opportunities for redemption. If you enjoyed this journey of discoveries, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, and comment below which story caught your attention the most. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more content where curiosity knows no limits. See you next time.